Hey guys, it's me, Miss Norris, and today I have a fun read aloud for you called Bangalee. And Bangalee is the story of a little critter and how he saves the day by keeping things clean. And this has been one of my favorite stories since I was a little girl. This story was written in 1976. It was written by Stephen Cosgrove and illustrated by Robin James. The story is called Bangalee, and I hope you really enjoy it. Now, I know most of the time when I do read alouds, I use the music stand, but today I'm going to go ahead and hold the book because each page has words on one side and the picture on the other, so I can hold up the picture for you the entire time while I read the words, and that way you can look at everything as I'm saying it. Okay? Bangalee. In a very dusty corner of a very confused land stood a jumbled up pile of rocks and rubble called Critter Castle. All around the castle was litter of all sorts. There were tires and cans, bottles and bells, and all sorts of ugly, dirty garbage. Does this sound like a place you want to live? Let's meet who lives there. Inside this castle of rust and ruin lived some furry little creatures called critters. A critter was like no other animal you have ever seen. It had short furry legs, short furry arms, and a fat furry face that was always dirty. For you see, the only thing critters could do well was be messy. They never combed their hair, never washed their faces, and you would always find their clothes in the strangest of places. Now that you know that, can you see that they got a pile of clothes maybe in their hallway? I'm not sure if that's where it goes. And they're just throwing trash on the floor. Now, I don't know about you guys, but if I ever threw trash on the floor at my house, my mom would not have liked it, not one single bit. Day in and day out, they would dash about the castle, littering here and littering there. They would drop their candy wrappers, gum wrappers, and newspapers anywhere they happened to be. Because of all the junk lying around, never would a day go by without one of the critters slipping or tripping on a pile of garbage. Fortunately, they would usually end up falling on a pile of discarded rags and luckily never hurt themselves. So you can see they just throw things wherever they want to. And because of that, see this guy, he slipped on his banana peel, but he fell on this pile of soft clothes, so it was okay. In the middle of this castle of confusion, there was one room that was absolutely sparkling clean. It was here that the cleanest of all of the critters lived, and he was called Bangalee. He was short and furry, just like the other critters, except his face was always clean, and his hair was always combed, and you would never, ever find him wearing dirty clothes. Look how clean his little room is. So are you like a critter or are you like Bangalee? Do you keep your room clean like Bangalee or do you keep it messy like a critter? We'll see. Bangalee would constantly zip about his room, picking up his toys, putting away his clothes, and dusting every nook and cranny. He would wash the windows, wash the walls, and sometimes even vacuum the halls. Bangalee was so clean and organized that he was the one creature in the whole world who could always find that spot you always missed. So if you were cleaning and you missed one spot, Bangalee would find it and probably clean it for you because he's a nice little guy. All the other critters would just laugh and call Bangalee names because no matter where he went, he would polish the lamps, clean the chairs, wipe the windows, and wash the stairs. But no sooner would he finish his chores than a whole mess of critters would walk by, kicking up dust and dirt, and poor Bangalee would have to start all over again. Poor Bangalee. He became so frustrated that one day he stood in the middle of the castle square and called for all the other critters to gather around. "My fellow critters," he began when they had arrived, "wouldn't it be nice to live in a neat and clean castle?" "Ah, pooh," one of them muttered. "A little litter never hurt anyone." And with that, the motley group went on its way, mumbling and grumbling, leaving Bangalee a bigger mess than when he had started. Poor Bangalee. Oh, I forgot. Ladies and gentlemen, remember that if I point to you like this during a story, that's because our story needs a little drama, and I want you to say, "Dun, dun, dun!" Are you ready? Things would have gone on this way forever had it not been for the Grunk. Dun, dun, dun! The Grunk was a monstrous garbage-eating beast who had been wandering around the countryside for many years looking for something to eat. Since Critter Castle was the junkiest place around, it was only natural that he would come here for a big, super feast. Look at that Grunk. Grunks love junk. When the critters caught sight of the Grunk, they quickly ran inside their castle and tried to raise the drawbridge. But there was so much garbage in the way that they could only get it halfway closed. Look, you can see the bags and bags of trash. Fortunately, there was so much litter outside that the Grunk began to eat that first. He ate some tires that had sat there so long, and he even ate a bell that had lost its ding-dong. So you can see those tires and other trash outside. Appetizers. He's having a little snack before dinner. "Oh, what are we gonna do?" they cried. "The Grunk eats junk and we're so dirty he'll probably eat us too." They began running here and there, looking for some place to hide. But no matter where they looked, there was garbage and litter and no safe place to hide. Finally, Bangalee came forward and said, "I think I have a plan that will save us from the Grunk." With muddy tears streaming down their eyes, the critters all gathered round. "The only thing the Grunk wants is junk. If we clean up our rooms and clean up the streets and throw all the garbage outside for the Grunk to eat, then he will have no reason to come inside the castle. and we will be safe. You think that'll work? I don't know. Bangalee seems like a pretty smart fella. Oh, look. The critters agreed and set out to clean the castle. They picked up the paper, the bottles, the cans that were lying on the ground, and then they washed the walls that were dirty and brown. They picked up the toys in their rooms and hung up their clothes, then washed off the street using a hose. Load after load of garbage was thrown out of the castle to the waiting Grunk. Finally, there wasn't a speck of garbage or litter left in the rooms or in the square. For the first time in many, many, many years, the castle was clean. But did it work? Of course it did. That Grunk had never seen so much junk. He ate the dirt, the rags, the newspapers, all. And he even ate an old rubber ball. When he had eaten all there was to eat, he sniffed and sniffed, but there just wasn't any more. With a belch and a burp, he lumbered away from the castle in search of more garbage and more junk. So he feels like a person on Thanksgiving. He's stuffed to the gills. There's no more room. The critters all shouted and cheered as the Grunk disappeared. Then they stopped and looked around. The castle, which had been so junky and messy, was now so clean that it sparkled in the afternoon sunshine. If the castle can look so good after being cleaned up, maybe if we all took a bath, we could feel just as good. The critters looked at each other, covered with dust and grime, and proclaimed that from this day forth, dirt would be a crime. So all the critters, from the very old to the very young, took a hot, soapy bath and got clean to their critter bones. And to this very day, Critter Castle is clean, and the junky old Grunk has never been seen again. Wait, there's more. So, if your room is messy and cluttered with lots of junk, better clean up your room like Bangalee, 'cause here comes the Grunk! The end. I hope you all really enjoyed this story of Bangalee and the other critters in Critter Castle. I hope if your room's not clean, it inspires you to go do so. And if your room's already clean, maybe you can help somewhere else around the house. If you enjoyed this story, Bangalee, please hit that thumbs up button at the bottom of the page. If you're already a subscriber, thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. And if you're not a subscriber yet, hit that subscribe button down there and click the bell for notifications so that you don't miss out on any cool content. I'll see you next time. Bye.